Hello everyone, I am Balaji here from Team MOI, and I think yesterday and day before yesterday we had a deep dive session on the technology and why our MOI is unique when compared to the other technologies. So today we'll be talking about the Web3 and Web2 to Web3 adoption on MOI and how we have built our adopter ecosystem so far and what we have planned for in the future. So today I'll just start with the first fact as to why MOI as a protocol is unique when it comes to practical migration from Web 2 to Web 3. Web 2 to Web 3 migration is an untapped market, and that's a huge opportunity for any protocol. And we have cracked the code of making it very practical and making it very simple for the Web 2 enterprises to move to Web 3. When it comes to MOI, we have decoupled the architecture. That is, the identity, the storage, ledger, and compute has been decoupled in such a way that the enterprise trying to move from Web 2 to Web 3 can just start with the identity layer, and then they can use the storage, ledger, and compute as they get into the Web 3 space. And unlike other protocols where they have to build everything from scratch on a smart contract, which is not possible today because most of the enterprises don't want to have that kind of a change on day one. So moving from Web 2 to Web 3 is made simple using MOI and our decoupled architecture, and that is where our major adoption comes from. And there are certain benefits for the existing Web3 business. As a new Web3 businesses to build on top of MOI, I will quickly run you through some of the benefits that that MOI provides to the Web3 businesses. One is multi-dimensional value, which is all types of assets and all types of values, and not just monetary values, can be stored at the participant level. And total digital utility, which is a native asset support to facilitate personalized value measure of all participants and MOInet involved across different types of interactions and multiple apps that are built on top of MOI. And our gas costs are predictable and they don't fluctuate like other protocols. And our consensus algorithm is so light that you can run it on a device like a Raspberry Pi, and which makes it very eco-friendly, and we don't need a lot of electricity to run for our host nodes, which makes the whole ecosystem very eco-friendly. And we have native file support, which is all stored at a participant level, unlike other protocols where everything is at a smart contract level, leading to situations like honeypot and things like that, which doesn't happen in MOI. And our network is highly scalable, and the finality, the scalability happens in such a way that we start our mainnet with 50,000 validators, and that is a huge number to start with. So we are going to be as scalable. Our network security is much more higher when we scale. So that provides a good system for Web3 businesses to build on. Moving on, I would like to talk about the current Web3 adopters in our ecosystem. Starting with IOMI, which is an identity network that is built on top of MOI. This is a decentralized ID network, which is powered by ZKP and PKI. This allows users to control their identity and their data. This doesn't this ensures that the user has complete ownership of their identity. And this also allows the users to, because as we have spoken in the earlier sessions of what MOI provides as a context-aware protocol, this allows the users to reveal their identity in such a way that based on their interactions. So if I'm wanting to check into, let's say, a hotel, I don't have to reveal all the information that is not necessary for me to reveal in order to check into a hotel. All I need to do is prove that I'm over 18 to check into a hotel. And this is also done in such a way that ZKP, zero knowledge proof, is enabled in this, so that I don't have to reveal my information, but I prove my identity without revealing it. So this is done using IOMI and the decentralized identity network, which is IOMI. Moving on, next is MOI-Bit, which is decentralized storage network, which is also personalized decentralized storage network. Today, MOI-Bit is like is focused on content addressability because in cloud storage and other storage platforms, every time you have to go fetch a file, it is based on the location, which takes a lot of time and which makes the whole system slow. But MOI as a protocol allows content addressability, which makes retrieving data from MOI-Bit data stored on MOI-Bit to be retrieved much faster. And also the encryption that a user wants can be decided by the user. The level of encryption that the user wants is decided by the user. This gives a much higher security, and this also gives the user complete ownership of data stored in MOI-bit. Moving on, we have Mint Valley, which is an NFT marketplace built on top of MOIverse, our metaverse platform. One of the unique features of Mint Valley is that we focus on everyone, not just the crypto native users, right? Because anyone who's a digital artist would love to move to the NFT market and move into the NFT space. And in other NFT marketplaces, you don't have the ability. I mean, as in, it's very hard to move because you need a specialized wallet. You need to understand how crypto works, and there's a huge gas cost involved, which is not the case with Mint Valley. We support fiat currency. Today, everyone is accustomed to UPI payments, and everyone has a mobile phone, and that kind of easy access makes a Mint Valley the ideal scenario for any digital artist or any NFT creator to move into the NFT space without the knowledge of, let's say, a crypto or crypto wallets, right? And this allows users to also create empowerment amongst the artists today, which is a very good, very huge point for future artists, and they can empower themselves into the metaverse space and not just the physical world. So this is enabled through Mint Valley. And moving on, we have a Town Square, which is a social network app built on top of MOI. This Town Square app is a very interesting use case, as today, let's say we are in a locality where we want to raise a complaint about a particular scenario where, let's say, the roads are not fine, but we don't want to reveal our identity, but at the same time we want to voice our opinion and make sure that the roads are fixed. And you have to remain anonymous, but you also have to prove that you're from the locality, and no other protocol today can enable you to do that, because in MOI we have KYC enabled at the protocol level, which allows the user to prove that he is from a particular locality, but at the same time he need not reveal who he or she is because of the ZKP power that is also part of the IOMI network. So this enables the user to raise the voice against a particular issue in his or her locality, and at the same time need not reveal who he or she is, and also can prove that he or she is from the locality, which is a very unique use case which is built on top of MOI. And this is going to scale. It is going to be a very much needed use case when the governance becomes more decentralized and more into the Web3 space. Moving on, we have DAO, which is sport. So today there is also a major problem with fake reviews on Web2 platforms. Most of the platforms today have paid reviews, in order to promote their products. But again, using the same concept of ZKP and KYC enabled identity verification, you can prove that you are a real user on the platform giving real reviews. And all this is enabled by our IOMI network, wherein the identity is proved on the network, and also they need not reveal their information, which is protected by ZK proofs. So this allows the user to give genuine reviews on the network, and also this enables the other side of the users to ensure that the reviews given by this person is actually genuine or not. And moving on, we have a certain Web2 to Web3 adapters that they have built on top of MOI, and as I told, MOI enables Web2 enterprises to move into Web3 seamlessly without much of a hassle with our decoupled architecture. So here are some of the use cases that I would like to highlight. One is Chaturang, which is built on top of the MOI protocol, wherein we are trying to revolutionize the pawnbroker industry. Today, they don't have a digital storefront, and everything is physical. This makes it very problematic for the end user, meaning let's say an auto driver or some person who wants to pawn their gold jewelry. So this makes it very difficult for them when they have to find a competitive rate. There might be rates which are much higher in their locality. They might not have the ability to travel somewhere else and pawn their gold jewelry. So what if the whole scenario is digitalized, and decentralized. That is what Chaturang is doing. So we have developed a network of pawnbrokers, wherein all pawnbrokers get MOI ID, and anyone who wants to pawn their gold jewelry can go to the nearest pawnbroker. They might store the gold jewelry in that locality, but they might get the money credit from another pawnbroker located, let's say, in Rajasthan at a much competitive rate. This way, the end user is benefited, and also the proof that storage proof and the person who's lending the money, all this is stored or pronounced on the network, and this enables this removes the trust quotient from individuals and puts it on the network, and the protocol governs the trust. And MOI is a people-centric protocol, as we say, participant-centric protocol. And any use case that is focused on people and enabling people to mobilize the Web3 space, and MOI is the protocol to go to. Moving on to another app, which is Asset Fractio, which tokenizes real-world real estate properties, where end users can buy fractional pieces of a property, and the ownership is recorded or pronounced on the network, and they also can earn subsequent revenue in the form of rents and letting out, leasing, and other similar area of revenue streams that they can generate. This also is enabled or built on top of MOI, which ensures that the tokenization of real world, all the assets are and the ownership is pronounced on the network. Moving on, we have DAO, which is inaugural. Today, most of the small and medium chartered accountants have a major problem of being crushed by the big organizations like the Big Fours. So, how do we empower them? So, Finnoverse came up with the concept of a decentralized autonomous organization, wherein all the small and medium CAs come together and form a DAO, and all the governance is on the DAO. They come together in a shared service model. This enables them to overcome the competition that they're facing with big organization, and at the same time they can have their individuality, because any chartered accountant today in their hometown will have a set of clients, and they might not like to lose out on them. At the same time, they want to have the power of a big organization and to provide the same quality of service of the big organization. And this way, the small and medium chartered accountants can come together and work in a decentralized manner and service their particular set of clients, but the way they do the service.
Hello everyone, thank you Balaji for a very extensive session on all the adopters, and I would like to just emphasize on the fact that development in Web3 is still in its initial stages, and the philosophy of MOI has always been that we enable and not control. Staying true to that philosophy, we believe in empowering our Web3 adopters as well. And we understand that the pain points of adopters are different from each other. So we have primarily categorized our adoption programs into 3 categories. First being for the startups. So we have a MOI adopter program for startup, which is a startup-friendly initiative based focused on boarding more applications on top of MOI ecosystem. As Balaji took us through a list of all our current adopters, they all fall under this program. So this program is very much live, and our adopters are leveraging MOI chain and using MOIBit and MOI ID functionalities to manage their storage and ID management respectively. Then we have another program that is coming up for the youth. So we are in talks with multiple universities, and very soon we will be providing their youth training on how to build on blockchain. So the entire focus is to encourage the youth to build applications on top of MOI ecosystem. They will get support in 2 forms. First, definitely in engineering mentorship that will be provided by the core team and industry leaders. It will help you start your blockchain and Web3 journey from an informed perspective, where you know the basics of Web3 blockchain development, product cycle, and other things. Apart from that, we will be going an extra step and providing fundraising support in terms of we will have people groom all our potential young adopters on how they can go out and connect with more investors, how they can ask for fundraising, and we'll be covering their basics as well. So it will be an end-to-end support system for our youth. Then, as we know, in Web3, women representation is not very high. So we have a special program for women where we'll aim to empower 100 women entrepreneurs in Web3 by December 2023. This will be a mentor-led program, and the idea is to create more female CEOs in the Web3 space. They will be provided a certain stipend on MOI when they're building on MOI, so that they do not get distracted with other things and can focus solely on building on the Web3 solution. So why should somebody become an adopter at MOI? So we have a standard process, first of all, on how to become part of MOI ecosystem. First is the concept submission, and there is a mentorship team in place that reviews your concept. Secondly, the chosen teams get engineering mentorship by MOI core team, but we have other people from outside MOI core team as well who are very well-known pioneers in the IT industry and have a very good knowledge of Web3. Then also we provide business mentorship from experienced business leaders. So all these benefits are available under all our programs, whether it's MOI Shakti, whether it's University Alliance, whether it's MOI Adaptor program. Also, we believe in collaboration. We believe in learning from each other. MOI team can learn from you, you can learn from us. That is how the entire Web3 ecosystem will grow. So we have MOI Con coming up very soon in Bangalore. So the MOI adopters will be invited to MOI Con event in Bangalore. The builders will get a chance to collaborate and learn from each other as well as from the MOI core team. This is exclusive for people who are part of our initiatives. Apart from that, we are also planning a lot of demo jams where MOI adopters get to pitch their solution to the MOI investors and partnership network. It comprises of leaders from Fortune 100, Fortune 500 and hedge funds. So I think these are very exclusive opportunities available for the MOI adopters, and if anybody is interested in checking more about MOI, I strongly recommend you go to our website MOI.Technology and learn more about it. The next session will be, with that I would like to wind up this session and thank you all. The next session will be taken by Ganesh and we will be starting it in another 5 minutes. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, good evening. Thank you Balaji for walking through the core capabilities of MOI for current Web2 use cases as well as the up and coming Web3 use cases. And thank you, Geetika, for opening up on the different facets of the Adaptor program that we have here at MOI. While Balaji and Geetika introduced about these things, these applications are typically deployed on a network, and that network in this case for MOI is currently a testnet, which is called as the Indus testnet. Indus testnet, unlike other blockchains, is different and special of its own kind, primarily because it's an incentivized testnet. And I'm here to share with you about why Indus testnet is important to achieve decentralization and also fulfill some of the needs and requirements of every end user, and walk you through how you can actually become a validator in the Indus testnet. As you might remember from yesterday's talk, we came to a conclusion that MOI is a context-aware peer-to-peer protocol implementing the interaction state machine. Rahul spoke about how POXT implements participant-centric ordering and consensus mechanisms. Sai mentioned about how MOI protocol enables users to tether their real identity to a BIP44 based interoperable wallet. And Manish spoke about how the context-aware compute can be used to execute instructions in a Turing incomplete manner and personalize the way we do it. And finally, Pankaj spoke about how Agora can enable context-aware data sharing in the network and allow users to completely own and control their digital footprint. To summarize yesterday's talks, it's safe to say that MOI is a people's network. Unlike the simple concepts of decentralization pushing everyone to the brink of a common agreement, MOI enables people to go back to their own corners, find their comfort zones, and operate from that particular comfort zone, and still make the network decentralized enough and distribute the power across multiple people or operators. So, with that quick summary of yesterday's talk, I'd like to quickly brush through the definition of MOI protocol for people who were not able to make it to yesterday's call. So essentially, MOI is a protocol which is personalized and participant-centric. And using this protocol, we are building the world's first context-aware peer-to-peer network. In this protocol, with the help of this protocol, users can control and own their identity, data, and their values or digital assets. They can do that with the help of their own digital footprint that the protocol uses and leverages the network and its resources, the nodes, in an intelligent manner and facilitates the nodes to achieve consensus on each and every transaction of yours in your own blockchain without giving a space for collusion, coercion, or any other type of attack vectors. With this brief summary of MOI, I would like to say that there is a visionary open reference implementation which is already deployed in the name of IndusTestNet, and our goal is to host as many nodes as possible and facilitate a very large throughput for industry scale applications to be built on top of MOI. So what is Indus exactly? So basically it's MOI's first incentivized testnet. It's a multi-phase incentivized testnet for the MOI protocol, which encourages the public to come together and try out our software. You can do that by basically hosting the MOI pod. That's the name of the validator binary that you will basically run on a device, currently starting from a desktop or a laptop or a personal cloud machine that you might have in the case of individuals. And in the case of institutions, it would be a VM or it could be an on-prem machine. You could download our binary, join our network, start hosting and join our network and evaluate the MOI.Technology and give us feedback. And for all these early involvements that you do with us, in return, you get rewarded. So the goals, the fundamentals that we are trying to get back on track to is unlike other blockchains which are heavily centralized, we want to actually democratize the validator industry. What we mean by that is that when you compare the competitiveness of the Bitcoin blockchain, most of the top contenders of the Bitcoin block producers are the ones who are part of a larger pool of sophisticated miner hardware, ASICs basically, which an average retailer would not be able to afford. On the contrary, if you look at the Ethereum blockchain or any other POS-alike blockchains, in that case, you don't have a demand for a very complicated hardware, yet there is some basic requirements which must be met in terms of hardware requirements, even in a proof-of-stake chain, such as the Ethereum. But apart from that, you also have a demand of a minimum 32 ethers to be staked in the validator node in order to participate in the network. So by having these unrealistic bar of entry, we are basically cutting out retail people or average end users to be part of the network, and thereby again running to the hilt and asking the cloud providers to host these nodes for us, or basically create a pool and effectively passively take control of the entire network. And we definitely wanted to solve this problem, so we are working on solving this with the help of Indus, and you'll get to know how you can be part of democratizing this validator industry in the coming slides. Apart from helping democratize this validator concentration, we also want to obtain, gather around the industry feedback on our technology that we have built, and at the end of the day, encourage more people to make this their own network. It's after all, people's network. So it's a network which is planned and will be delivered across multiple phases. The projected roadmap, tentative to change, are going to be like this. It's a 5-point roadmap where 2 releases have already been delivered, and there are 3 more releases to be anticipated, which is the upcoming one in 2022 October, end of October, and 2022 end of December, and the final release will be in the month of February 2023. This should not be read as February 2022, it's February 2023. My apologies for the error in date. Yeah, as you can see, we started off a little earlier this year with basic features for provenance and liveness, and then went on ahead with a couple of other mechanisms added as well, such as the incentivization, so that you get rewards for your participation in the testnet. Along with that, we complemented this infrastructure with some level of readability, which is that of a blockchain-like explorer, which we have for our chain, our protocol, our networks, which is basically called as MOI.Voyage. So you will learn more about that in the future slides as well. And in the coming releases, we look forward to deliver more sophistications targeted towards producing tesseracts. For people who are not familiar about what tesseracts are, they are super structured, basically a higher dimension of multi-order dimensions of different contexts that are captured into one unit of trust and compute and value and storage, and that is I could say a block on steroids, but a little bit more than that. It's a paradigm shift in how we can actually capture states and context in our network for a user. So in MOI, like I said, each user have their own blockchain. So production of tesseracts in their own tesseract lattices is very crucial, and that's exactly what's coming up in the coming release. Along with that comes the consensus mechanisms and smart contract basic features as well. And we'll round up the year with full-scale smart contract support for developers to experiment their existing applications, port them to MOI, and also try to develop some new features using some exclusive features that MOI has, and that's something that is harder to find in other blockchains. And we'll wrap up with a final release next year in the month of February, which will primarily focus on sophistication at DX developer experience level and introduce network level governance and other levels of sophistications for the network. So to make all this possible, we have a sustainable validator ecosystem that we have designed, which is primarily driven by the foundation and its representatives, and then trickle down into 3 separate levels. One is the community, which is currently led by companies who are actively contributing to the MOI protocol, and also the companies who are actively building on top of MOI protocol. As Balaji has already showed shared with you people, we have around 12 to 15 applications right now who are actively developing on MOI, and there are a few more who are actively exploring MOI protocol for their use cases. So those are the companies and their employees and their friends and families who understand the potential of this network, who are actively hosting nodes for us in the IndustriesNet. Parallel to that, we also have evangelists who are passionate blockchain enthusiasts who are very much intrigued about MOI protocol and interested in sharing about this protocol with their industry colleagues in the Web3 or Web2 industries, and also share with their friends and families. And we already have enough people in our circles who are actually doing this and helping us by hosting more nodes in the incentivized testnet. And finally, we have ambassadors who are anointed at each campus, who's responsible for sharing more information about MOI at their local campus and help their fellow classmates or batchmates get on board, and also contact their college administration to be part of this game as well. So put together, all these 4 different tribes are coming in together at a larger number across the globe and succeeding the Indus project. So where are we with the Indus, right? So currently I'm happy to announce that we have more than 70 verified or KYC node operators who are hosting more than 500 nodes across the globe and getting entitled with close to almost 1 million in MOI and continuing ahead with that journey. Not only that, but we are also happy to announce that with this kind of an active participation that we have received from the industry and the tribes that I just mentioned, we've been able to actually top the Nakamoto coefficient table way above than almost any other blockchains based on the research information published by Trail of Bits. And this report was funded by DARPA, the research agency of the Department of Defense, United States. So this report has the creditworthiness needed for us to make the claim that MOI is surely a top contender in terms of the decentralization factor needed for a sustainable network. With that, I would like to also share some thoughts about how we actually started and where we are still planning to achieve the distribution of power in this decentralized network. There are 2 types of entities who can work with Indus and basically start hosting nodes. One, you could be an organization or a company, and for a company which can go through a KYB successfully, that company can host up to 108 nodes, 108 nodes per KYB wallet. Whereas if you're an individual or just a professional who is just willing to KYC yourself, in that case you can host as much as 21 nodes per KYC wallet. With these 2 different types of participants that we are welcoming to the Indus testnet, we are prepared for all the 3 types of scenarios. Where on one side of the spectrum, where we have 100 companies all hosting 108 nodes. Currently, we do have a few companies who have KYB'd themselves and are hosting to the maximum potential of 108 nodes per KYB wallet. Now that would be great. And along with that, we also have out of the 71 or 72 verified node operators, we do have a couple of them who are using this feature to the fullest potential and hosting as many as 21 nodes per account or per wallet, which is which shows or which reflects a great deal of confidence in the project. So that on one side is a scenario. On the other side of the spectrum, we expect at least one node per individual, which in our case is a lot less than the current median based on the data we have, is one node per individual and 10 nodes per company. And then we have an optimum scenario where we are expecting a median of 50 nodes to be hosted by at least 200 to 250 companies, and at least a median of 10 nodes by 3,500 to 4,000 individuals. All put together, the total number of nodes for us would be somewhere in the range of 50,000 nodes by the end of the testnet. So what does it take, right, to be part of this testnet and to host a validator node? Not much. Because unlike POW in the Bitcoin network, or unlike POS in the Ethereum network, we neither demand you with a sophisticated hardware, nor do we demand you to buy some token and stake it and then become active. With MOI, we have the distinct ability to use the protocol on a very lightweight device with very minimal CPU and RAM and storage setup. That's the power of the MOI protocol, because it does not have a monolithic blockchain. It just has user-specific blockchains, and your nodes are intelligently managed by the protocol in the network and distributed to settle transactions dynamically and settle them in their own chains. As such, due to the fundamental changes in the data structures and the methods that we have made, you're not expected to have a monolithic computation or a monolithic system requirement. So as you can see, the minimum spec for you to join as a validator in Induster's dual core CPU, 4 GB RAM, and sufficient storage on HDD or SSD. So this is a great start for people, and a very low bar for retail users, everyday today users, to actually truly gain control on their footprint in our decentralized network. So what should you do? If you match these system requirements and you already have an idle computer at home or at cloud or any other premises that you can leverage, then I would definitely recommend you to log on to validator.moi.technology. It's a dedicated website which allows you to go through the real-time statistics of the network, and allows you to go through the documentation. There's a very simple documentation that you can walk through and just download the binary, do a KYC on your wallet, and just run a command or two, and then just set up your node. It's as simple as that. Setting up a validator in the MOI network takes less than 5 minutes for a typical Unix well-known professional, and it would not take more than 10 minutes for anybody else. And there are enough support systems available for you to continue your journey or even start a new journey to become a validator in MOINet. For you to do that, all you have to do is just go through a bunch of Medium blog posts written by our community members, and also we have a regular validator catch-up calls we have with the validators who join these meetings in a social way and share about their journey in the blockchain industry and help each other host validator nodes in MOI and in IndusNet. So I encourage you all to scan this QR code and click on the link to become a validator and get started with your journey. It's easy, it's simple, and it's the right thing to do for you to gain back control on your identity, your data, and your assets. And this is a great way to be part of the MOI ecosystem and support them in the early days. and in exchange be entitled for rewards. With that, I will stop here and wait for any questions you might have got.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much, Ganesh, for such interactive session. So with this session, actually, we have come to closure of our first Ekam event. We intend to do this event regularly and keep doing more knowledge sessions, and hopefully we'll be back very soon. Next time it's going to be bigger and better with more collaborations, more panel discussions, and more speakers from different Web3 platforms. And on the day one, we had, just to summarize the entire session, on the day one, we had Mr. Nanda Krishnan, who took us through the concept of Krama, the vision behind it, and how it empowers the next, the emerging digital society. Day two was dedicated to engineering and tech, and we had Ganesh and Coorg MOI developers like Sai, Pankaj, Manish, Rahul, who took us through the journey of building MOI and how Krama was leveraged to build a truly personalized blockchain that is good enough to actually support the practical life use cases. The day three was dedicated to Adaptor program and how people are actually leveraging MOI, building on MOI, and scaling their solutions to the next level, and how they are becoming future ready. And we also had Ganesh for the last session to summarize all the efforts that have gone in, and also to give us an overview about Indus testnet and how it is empowered by the validator community. We plan to onboard thousands of validators in the next few months. If you are interested in become validators, as Ganesh already pointed out, you can go to Validator.MOI.Technology and learn more about us. In case you want to understand more about MOI, you can go to two places. One is info.moi.technology, where you'll find our vision and technical paper, or you can head on to YouTube, and on our channel you will find videos from our previous sessions and podcasts, where you can learn in depth about what we are building at MOI and what is the vision. With that, I would like to thank everyone for being such a lovely audience, and hope to see you soon for the next Ekam. Thank you.